But if it is not related, I'm going to put it back at the end, to the end of the meeting. Okay? Shall we start? How are you, everyone? So hopefully you are awake, yeah? I know this is still morning. So let's just have a look at the first part. We're going to start for the information for the task coordinator. So for the task coordinator, make sure that you log in and set in your login and password is correct. A lot of times there are problems when they do not correlate and you have problems in registering or logging in. So be careful with that. Even a very simple case like missing one letter or even one space, it can affect the registration or the logging in. Then this is the portal. And please note that we've got the short one. Okay. Our staff is going to share the portal to you later on. So now, a reminder, if you run ICAS writing and spelling bee, please remember to uninstall Jenison Reply. Then later on, install it back. If you don't uninstall, then the Jenison Reply won't work. Okay? So now, let's start with the beginning. The first one is inviting staff. How do we invite your staff? Here is the look of the portal once you log in. As you can see here, we've got the sidebar. Okay. And we also have, sorry, second. We also have some topics here that you can visit. If you have any questions, you can actually click easily the task supervisor supervision instructions and also the question and answer. But let's just start with the first one, which is inviting new staff. Okay. First thing first, when you invite your new staff, make sure that you go to the right portal. But again, it depends on the types of the account that your staff hold on. Okay, the first thing is that register the staff as an unrestricted teacher. Okay, so click that part. Then we recommend that all staff that joining they're going to be supervisors of the test to register as unrestricted teacher. So they have access to all students who will be sitting on the ICAS test. Okay, now after that, you've put the email addresses and just the email will automatically send to your staff. Okay, until here is okay. Yeah? If you have any question, feel free to type in the chat box. So assign later on, the teacher role must be assigned as a class later after everyone is registered as an unrestricted teacher. So now, sorry. So, as a school teacher coordinator, only teacher school coordinator can assign classes to teachers. So although your staff are assigned as unrestricted teachers, they still have limited access. So the one who has all access, only school coordinator. Okay, so if you are school coordinator, you're the one who are going to assign people. Let me go to the next one, which is import students. So when you import the students, first you go to the same site. Okay, then this part of the so it's going to you need to make sure that as a school coordinator, you know you're the only one who have permissions to import the students. So you need to know exactly how to do it. So you just go to this one and click this import students part. Then you need to download the template first. Okay, so once you download the template, you will get, and then sorry, you got the side-by-side instructions here, step-by-step instructions, sorry. You've got the step-by-step instructions here. So make sure that you download the template. When you download the template, you will get this file in an Excel. Okay, one important thing is please do not change the headings. Never change the headings, because once you change it, then it can cause errors in your registration. Okay, so make sure that you keep the headings. Fortunately, not every single thing here is important. the most important part of the informations of the students that you need to include are first name, last name, date of birth, student year. Okay, so the most important parts are first name, the mandatory fields are first name, last name, date of birth, and year level. This one. Okay, the other parts are optional. So student ID, gender, and then class, they are optionals. This is an example. Okay, if you want to put the class name, okay, if you list the class if you list classes, include the year level with the class name. So for example, year 3, then what's the class name? If you want to put class name, make sure that you put the number of the year at the beginning of the class name, right? So here is an example of the correct information to be uploaded. Later, after that, sorry. So let's have a recap. So this is the forms that you are going to download. And this is the most important information that you need to fill in. And this is an example if you want to put the class name or the group type. Okay, until here, hopefully everything is okay. If I'm too fast, feel free to ask me to ask me to slow down. Now, another important part
Sorry,
is,
Miss.
yes, sorry, can you please type? Yeah, type in the chat box, thank you. So the most important part is that the date of birth. This is the correct format of the date of birth. Date / month / year. Make sure that you've got 4 digits for the year. If you have the wrong format, then it'll be red and it's considered as errors. Okay, so let's just a second. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to type in the chat box. Okay, so that is the format of the student's information. Make sure that everything is correct. But then now, what happens if you have errors? Okay. So this is the examples of the problems that we often encounter. Okay, so what do you think the problem is? Thus, it means that the year group is different. And there is also one empty row. This type of information can cause error when you try to register your students. Okay, so make sure that you avoid this. Once you have wrong information, you have the information from the, you will have information on your, sorry, on your portal. Okay, so if you have wrong information, then you have the errors information. Okay, right. So the class here is the year of the students taking the test. So when you buy the test, you need to know which year that your students are in. For example, paper E English is for junior high school year 7, for example. Yeah, then you need to make sure that you put the year, the right year, according to the right paper. Okay. Okay, for the other, thank you for the question. The other questions will be answered later on related to the topics that we are going to talk about. Yeah. So once you have errors, usually you will get the information from the portal. So this is the information. Error row number 4, error row number 4. So these are the problems. So if you have these kind of problems, you cannot upload your file. You need to fix them first. Moving on. Once you finish with all the informations, the correct ones, go to the upload file. Okay, click upload file. You can select that and then select your new newly created file and then select Start. That's a good question. If the last name, sometimes students do not have the last name. Let me ask my staff first. If I'm not mistaken, you can actually have double names, but then again, it will affect the certificate. Yeah. Let me ask first. That's a good question actually. Okay. I'm gonna keep it and then gonna answer you later on. Yeah. Okay. So, the non-mandatory field. Okay, so sometimes you actually want to know about your students. So the non-mandatory fields are actually information for the school. Okay, it won't appear in the certificate. The one that will be appear in the certificate are the mandatory ones. Okay. Is that the question for the staff coordinator or school coordinator? The username and password, I'm going to answer you later. Okay. Okay. Let's just focus on this one first. So once you finish, upload the file and click Start. Okay. And make sure that the name of the school and your email is correct. There are times when you click the wrong school because you were doing it in a hurry and then you click the wrong school, it is not your school, and then it'll bounce back. So the portal won't accept it. Yeah, okay. Right. Next one. Here, once you click Start, you will have the informations of the data. Okay, if you find something wrong, then you can actually edit the data before you can actually send it. So if you want to edit, you just need to click the edit button, then go and correct your information. Okay, I know that it's going to be a lot of work, especially if there are a lot of students joining. So you can actually have a kind of like similar Excel file to prepare you copying to the right template. So when you are making the when you are collecting the students' data, try to have the same format like the one from Jennison. Okay, that'll help you a lot. Okay, right. Okay. Then, to recap, let's watch a short video. Yeah. Sorry. Wait a second.
This video will take you through the steps to import students into the platform. Note that only school coordinators have permission to import students. To start the import, select Import Students. The Student Import page displays. These on-screen instructions will guide you through the process. Let's step through an import. Firstly, download the Excel template. You can find information about the accepted data formats in the user guide. There is a link to the user guide located in the assessment platform. The template will look like this. Now add the student data and save it as a new file. Details of students can be typed into the file, or data can be copied and pasted from another file. This is an example of a populated spreadsheet. Next, select Upload File. Select your newly created file and then select Start. A screen displays where you can preview the data that you're about to import. If you approve of the changes, select Start to commence the import. The details of your import show on screen and will also be sent via email to the school coordinator. If required, you can change the email address on the main import page. A few points regarding the template. You should not edit the headings of the template, as this may cause errors. The mandatory fields are first name, last name, date of birth, and the year level. Student ID, gender, and class are optional fields. If listing classes, include the year level with class name, for example, 3 Blue. And that's it for importing students. I hope you have found this video useful.
Okay. Well, while watching the video, I'm actually looking through your questions. The the user ID and email will be sent by Jenison to you as soon as possible. Okay, and the applications needed will be discussed later on. Okay, don't worry, we'll come to that part soon. Yeah, thank you very much for the question. One more important part is that there is a maximum character for registering the students. The maximum characters are 25 characters. Some of our students have very long names, right? They even have like 5 or 3 words. Then make sure that you can ask the parents which one that can be shortened. Yeah, so the characters should be less than 25. Okay, if you don't have the last name, you just give hyphen. Okay, type hyphen on the last name. Okay, right. If you still have any questions, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box. Yeah. Now, after you finish registering your students or uploading the information of the students taking the ICAS test, now we are going to talk about the allocating the license. Okay. Only school coordinator can allocate students. And the test license allocations is open approximately 4 to 5 weeks before the test sitting date. Okay. But sometimes it could be different, depends on the region, and usually it's about 4 to 5 weeks. Most of the time it's about 4 to 5 weeks before the sitting date. For example, if the sitting date is at the end of September, then the test license allocation time will be open at the beginning of September. Okay, you still have enough time to allocate your students. Again, this is only school coordinator who can do it. Okay. Or school coordinator account can do this one. Okay. Right. Now let's just have a look at how to do this. So first, please go to the same portal. You will find the same welcome page. Okay. And then click the allocate students. Okay. Or you can actually go to the sidebar and click the student here. Okay, student test license. Yeah, so there are 2 options that you can do. But the easy one is the one using the allocate test license. Okay. Later on, once you click that, you'll be shown this part. So this one will be displayed. The screen will display a list of available tests for your school. For example, here the school is Guilford Test School, and then these are the tests that they have registered or they have bought. Okay, so you have name of the tests, what types of assessment, because we've got ICAS and REACH, and then the subject, and then the year, and how many allocated tests are available. Okay, on the next column. And if you can see on the last column, you can see the dots. Yeah, the action. So later you are going to do this one. Okay. Next. So once you know which test that you are going to allocate, you click the three dots. All the info includes the test name, the product category, and the topics and the subject and the year will be there. And then you click the three dots in the action column. After that, you'll be given this edit. So you can just go to the edit button. Then later, you go to select the students. So you will have the list of the students' names here. Okay, for example, you chose 2024 ICAS English B, then you've got the list of the students' name. Yeah, you can click select all shown. It means that you are going to register all the students or give the license to all the students, or you can click certain names by clicking the box next to the name. Okay, right. Okay, the next step is you just click, then after that, you can choose, and after that, you go to the part where you've got start here, start button. Save button, not start. So you go to the save button. It means that you saved all the needed information or the needed students to be allocated on certain tests. After that, make sure that you can see the types of the tests, the correct tests, and then you need to pay attention closely to the the next part, which is the assessment. Which one? Make sure that is the correct one. Make sure that the subject is correct, and make sure that the year is correct, especially if your school have different years with the same subjects. And then you got the the how many allocated tests there. So these are the most important information from that page. You can also filter the product by choosing the assessment, the subject, the year. Yeah, so it'll make you easier. So you go to the specific information that you need. Later, after that, you are going to enroll the students here. Okay, so have a look at this one. For example, this one is ICAS English B. Enroll, and you can see the status, enrolled, and then the name. You can just check the names if you want to see. And here, the information needed. So test started, still 0. If you still want to fix the information, you can click edit. Okay, so you can just click this one. You can enroll the students one by one by clicking the box next to the name, or you can enroll everyone by select all shown here. And you can also deselect if you think, oh, I think I made a mistake, because again, you might have a lot of students or a lot of classes to assign, then you might make mistakes, then you can always edit it. Once you finish with the editing, then you click save. Okay, right. So let's have a recap again before I answer your questions, yeah?
This video will provide you with the steps to allocate test licenses to students. Only school coordinators can allocate licenses. You need to allocate the relevant test license to a student to allow them to sit the test. This can only be done once the student's details have been imported into the assessment platform and the license allocation is open. test license allocation is opened approximately 4 to 5 weeks before the test sitting dates, but this may vary by region. You can either select Allocate Test Licenses or use the navigation by selecting Students, Allocate Test Licenses. This screen displays a list of all available tests for the school. For each assessment, the following information is presented: the test name, the product category, for example, ICAS, the topic or subject, the year level, and how many licenses have been purchased and how many allocated. If the license allocation is open, 3 selectable dots display. For this example, Year 3 students will be sitting an ICAS test called Digital Technologies Paper A. The filter options help to select the correct assessment if there is a long list. You can use all 3 filters or just 1 or 2. Once the required test is located, select the 3 dots in the Actions column. The Test Licenses page displays, in this example, showing a list of students who are in Year 3. In the back end of the assessment platform, the test papers have been mapped to year levels, so for this paper, only Year 3 students, or the equivalent in your region, are showing in the list. This means you cannot accidentally allocate Year 4 students to a Year 3 test paper. The relevant year levels will show depending on the school's location. The filters will assist in locating the required group of students. You can also search for a specific student by name. Select Edit to select the students. You can also select the boxes next to the students' names to allocate licenses to them individually. You can select All Shown to allocate test licenses to all students displayed on this screen. The asterisks next to the checkboxes indicate that there are unsaved changes. If there are a high number of test licenses to allocate, you can change items per page to 100. By doing this, you will be able to allocate test licenses for up to 100 students with one click. Now select Save. The test licenses have now successfully been allocated to the students. It's possible to unenroll a student as long as they have not started the test. Select Edit. Uncheck the box next to the student and select Save. The number of enrolments will update to show how many licenses have been allocated out of the total that the school purchased. This information is shown at the top right. In this example, 19 licenses have been allocated out of a possible 50. And that's it. You've successfully allocated your licenses. We hope you found the video helpful.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing for, sorry. I'm gonna stop sharing for a few seconds since we've got beautiful drawings on it. Okay, I'll be back with the sharing. Just 1 second. Okay, now after you successfully allocate your students, it's time to print the students' login. This is very important since students need to have the correct information about their tests before they join the test, before they sit on the test day. Okay. First, you go to the same page, then you will your screen will display this. And you go to print student logins. Make sure that you have all information inputted correctly. Okay. Then the screen will display this part. The most important information is the filter. So have a look at the filter here in the red box. So you can look at the class group, the task group, or you can go to select the students if you want to go to specific student. Then product, topic, here, and print layout. How many pages per, how many tests, how many kind of like cards per page. Okay. So again, after that, make sure that you select the product, ICAS. Then you go to the topic. You go to the group, the class group. Okay. And then next, you go to the how many cards do you want to print per page? Do you want to have a bigger one? You want to have a smaller one? Then download. Okay. Once you finish fill in or filter in the information you need, you will have this card. This card should be given to your students on the test date. Hold it until the last time before they sit on the test, because just to avoid problems when they forget to bring it, when they lose it. So make sure that you just give it before the test date, just on the test date, I'm sorry. Okay. So this information is needed for your students to start the test. Okay. Right. Before I move on, I need to answer the 25 characters first. So 25 characters should be a combinations between the first name and the last name. So first name and the last name should not be longer than 25 characters. If they are longer than 25 characters, it's going to be cut down on the certificate. So make sure that it's a short one. So you may have, if your student's last name is too long or first name is too long, so you can talk to the parents which one that you want to be, which one that can be shortened. So you might have, for example, put only the first character for the first name, and then give a dot, and then the second you focus on the last name. So I don't know. You just need to talk to the parents how they want the student's name displayed on the certificate. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. We're going to talk about the writing, what to be prepared for the writing later on the technical part. Yeah. Okay. So space is not really included because again, you fill in the name one by one. You do not need to put space unless you've got two first names. If you want to put two first names, then space is counted as one character. Okay. All right. Now, it comes into the technical requirement. So what kind of technology or the gadgets that you need to run the tests? First thing, these are the browser that you need for sitting ICAS assessment. So make sure that you met all the technical requirements, because if not, then you may not be able to run the test. So yes, Google Chrome is recommended to run mathematics, English, science, and digital technology. For example, if you're using Mac, then make sure that you download the Google Chrome or you have Google Chrome. So you cannot use Safari. Yeah. Then, again, the browsers that should be compatible with the OS is actually this one. But then again, we highly recommend you to use Google Chrome. Yeah. Okay. Now, the device. Okay, so all these devices are suitable for the, I think, yeah, suitable for the test. So you can use one of this. Okay. You do not need external keyboard or mouse if you are using a tablet. Okay. Unfortunately, iPad mini is not supported. Okay, if you want to use iPad, make sure that you just use regular iPad or but not iPad mini. And it should be connected to a single screen only. So you cannot open many windows, or two windows is not available, is not allowed to open. So only one single screen. Okay. Right. Next one. These are the supported operating system. And these are the bandwidth. And these are the setting. Okay. Bandwidth is very important. A lot of problems happen when the internet connection is not strong enough to support everyone do the sit on the test day. Say for example that because of the bandwidth, then some students have problems in registering or in even starting the test. Then if it happens, you know, as the class, as the test supervisors, usually is a bit chaotic and it's not comfortable for both the school and the student. Okay, so make sure that you've got enough bandwidth, because especially if the numbers of the students are quite big, yeah. If you have more than 20 students sitting on the test at the same time, then make sure you've got enough bandwidth. My suggestion is to have a backup bandwidth, yeah, to backup internet connection in case you have problems with the internet connection. And the speed should be enough, should be big enough to run. Okay. Next one, again, remember to uninstall Jenison Reply if you have already joined, if you joined last year writing and spelling bee competition. So uninstall and reinstall. So these are the requirement or the secured lockdown browsers that is required for ICAS writing and ICAS spelling bee. So it's called Jenison Reply. And the reason why we have it is because to prevent students from accessing other application. And it's also prevent the use of operating system command, okay, like Control Alt Delete and stuff like that. So you can't use that. And then disable all the features and prevent a virtual machine. So you cannot ask ChatGPT, for example, to help you with the tests. Yeah. So this is very important to install Jenison Reply. But then again, a reminder: please uninstall it, then reinstall. If you joined writing last year. Okay. So far, that's all the technical for the preparation. So that's a preparation day. It will be a lot of work for the school coordinator. If you need, if you have a system, make sure that your assistant know what to do, and make sure that you've got one voice or one understanding about how to prepare the test. Yeah. Okay. We have only the video, but not yet the we don't have the online simulations, but we have the video. Then our staff is going to share you the link to the videos. And you can also access the video in our website. Yeah, in UTC website. Yeah, Chromebook is okay. I think that's what the staff's answer. Okay. Oh, it's not it's not on the play. You just need to go to this one. You need to go to our website. So go to the link that the admin sent you in the chat box. Can you find it? utc.co.id/ICAS lockdown browser. So go there to download the Jennison reply. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Now what will happen on the sitting there? Okay, sit the test. This is kind of like, again, my suggestion is make sure that you check the internet connection is strong enough to run the test, because most of the time, the problems that we encounter is related to the internet connection. Then when it happens, everyone is panicking, and then you just don't know what to do, because the students will ask you questions, how to do this, how to do that, and then you are not really equipped to the problem-solving situation. So make sure that you check and double check the internet connections. It is better if you have a backup connection. It is highly recommended to check the internet connections like an hour before the test, not only the day before. Because sometimes it happens like that, yeah, to avoid chaotic situations. Okay, so yes, 25 characters is a combination of the first and last name. Now, to sit the test, go to the ICAS site and log in using your username and password. On the teacher dashboard, click Supervise Live Test icon. Don't worry, I'll show you the video later. And then you go, click Create New Session, Test Session. And you've got the code that will be generated. You can display this code on the board so everyone can see it. Okay. Okay. Student log in using the session's code and their unique one-type code. Okay. And once they log in, you will get the student's name on the supervised live test session. Then again, make sure that everyone has logged in. Then you click the start session. So the time will be counted once you click the start session. Yeah, so the supervisor will be able to see who are taking the test, who are taking a break, the pause, for example, and their progress as well. Moving on. So yes, a student can pause by click or tick the checkbox next to their name, or you can actually pause the students and then click pause students, and the students will see a message to confirm that their test has been paused. Once the student is ready to continue, then you can click resume. Yeah. Okay. Right. So when the students has confirmed they have finished, the status will change to submitted. All informations will be displayed on your screen. Okay, so this is also another case where students forgot to hit the submit button. Okay, also they have finished, but they didn't submit the test. So you can actually manually submit the test by clicking on the check box next to the student's name. Okay, if the students forgot, they have left the room, then you can click submit. Okay, and then the student status will change to submitted. All right, recapping again.
In this video, we'll take you through the steps to create a new test session to run an ICAS or REACH test. We'll then show you how to supervise a live test. In this video, I will be using the school coordinator role. However, creating a new test session and supervising a live test can be completed by a restricted and an unrestricted teacher too. It's important to remember that each ICAS and REACH subject has its own test supervision instructions for teachers. This document gives clear instructions on how to create a session, how to supervise the test, and how to troubleshoot. To begin creating a session, select Supervise Live Test. You can access this link from the ICAS and Reach tabs. The Supervise Live Test screen displays. Select Create New Test Session. A session code will show on the screen. Display this session code for your students so they can use it to access their test. Please note, you must only create a session on the day of the test. Sessions created on any day before the test will expire. Also to note, your students must be allocated a license for their test prior to you creating a session, or else their one-time code will not generate and they will have no access to the test even if you give them the session code. Think of a session code as a virtual classroom. The sessions can be chosen from this drop-down menu. A school coordinator can view all past and current active sessions by deselecting the Active Only option. Once your students have entered the test player, they will display with the status of Not Started. Select Start Session to give the students access to take their test. Let's take a look at supervising a live test. This is the student's name, their one-time code, the status of their test, and the test name. The progress column shows the number of questions they have completed. This column shows the time they joined the test, and this one the actions that you can perform for their test. For example, you may need to unlock a test if a student has to move to a different device during the test. Here are some actions you may need to take when supervising a test. A student needs to go to the bathroom halfway through a test. Check the box next to the student's name and select Pause Student and confirm. Their status changes to Paused. This removes the student's access to the test while they are in the bathroom. Upon the student's return, check the box again and select Resume Student and confirm. The student can continue from where they left off. Another scenario might be that a student's internet connection drops out. If it's a brief disconnection, the student will be able to continue with their test. But if the internet connection drops out for the rest of the day and the test cannot be completed, the test will automatically go into a status called Postponed. This means that on the next day that you hold a test session, when you create a new test session for students, the students' answers will be saved so they can continue from where they left off. If a student accidentally submits a test before they have completed, it is at the school coordinator's discretion to reopen the test. However, this must be done on the test day. You cannot reopen a test the following day. To reopen a test, select the Submitted tab. Check the box next to the student's name, then select Reopen Candidate and confirm. For more information on supervising a live test, please see the test supervision instructions on pages 24 to 27 of the ICAS User Guide for Online Testing. And that's it for creating and managing test sessions. I hope you found our video helpful.
Okay. So that is from our point of view, from the from the test supervisors. Okay, so there's a good question here coming in the chat before we continue. So we have a question that the coordinator will redo the steps for the test conducted in different days. Well, the one who can run the test supervision is actually everyone, not only the school coordinator. So teachers can also do that. Okay, so it doesn't, the school coordinator, the privilege for school coordinator is the one who can import the students, who can put the data and then create or invite other staff to join the test. But other than that, for the supervision parts, all teachers can do that. Okay, and there is a question about the flag. The flag is actually kind of a notification for the students. They either missed the question or haven't done that question yet. So case that students can go back to that question if time's allowed. Okay, so it's more like a notification, okay, for the students. Right. Again, there is also another questions about school coordinator. Yes, you can have more than one school coordinator. Okay. If you still have any questions, feel free to chat to our admin. The WhatsApp number is in the chat box. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's just see from our students' point of view during the test day. Oh, sorry.
In this video, we will be stepping into the student's point of view on test day and guide them through the steps to successfully complete an assessment. To begin the test, head on over to the assessments platform by typing in the URL icas.site/start. Once on the assessment platform, you will be able to see a student login for both ICAS and Reach, but you will need to make sure you click on the correct assessment that you are sitting. Click Start a Test. Please note, if you are sitting spelling or writing subjects, you will need to make sure you are using Janison Replay. On the next page, you will be asked for an 8-letter session code. Enter in the code, then click Next. The session code used on the screen is just for demonstration, and the teacher will give you the right session code on test day. On the next page, you will have to type in your one-time code. Your teacher will give this code to you and is unique only to you. Once submitted, click Next, and you will be asked, are you ready to start your test? Click Yes and wait for your teacher or test supervisor to begin the test session. On this page, make sure your name is correct, and if it is not, let your teacher know immediately. Once the test is started, you will find small icons and buttons on the test player. On the top left corner is a magnifying glass which allows you to zoom in on your screen. Next to the magnifying glass is a yellow circle that says Hide Time. This will hide the time display. You can click the button again to change it back and forth. In the top right corner, you will also find a microphone tester and a speaker tester. If you are struggling with a question or would like to come back to one, you can simply flag the question by pressing the flag button. To view all the questions in the test, click on the rectangular button next to the word questions. Here you are able to see which questions you have not yet read, flagged or left unanswered. After you have viewed the last question, click Next, and it will bring up the view of all the questions for the test. Click on the question number to return to that question if you have either flagged or left it unanswered. Make sure you have answered all the questions, including the flagged questions, then press Finish. Once you've pressed Finished, click Yes, and your test will be submitted. Click Log Out, and then click Yes to log out of the test. Congratulations, you have successfully completed a REACH or ICAS assessment. For more information or guides on ICAS or REACH, head to the support page found on the ICAS Assessments website.
Okay, so that's it, the informations for preparing the test and what to do on the test day. If you still have any questions, feel free to ask us. There is one question about printing here. So is there a way to print the student's individual one-time code for a combination of year, but the list is organized per class? If I'm not mistaken, there is a kind of like filter. So if you want to filter this, to make sure that you select the correct filter. Right. Okay, so that's it from me. If you have any question, feel free to ask us. Hannah, I'll give this back to you. I think I've already answered the questions.
Okay, Miss Yayu,
I
thank
think
you
I've
very
already answered
much,
most of
Miss
the
Yayu,
questions.
for the informative presentation. And thank you to Bapak dan Ibu for your participation today. We hope this session has helped clarify how ICAS work and how to navigate the portal smoothly. Okay, if you have any future question after this session, please feel free to contact us by email or by WhatsApp. And that concludes our session for today. So once again, thank you so much, Bapak dan Ibu. Have a great day and see you again in the next session.
Yeah, for questions who haven't been answered yet, our admin will answer you via WhatsApp. Okay.
There ain't no gold in this river that I've been washing my hands in forever. I know there is hope in these waters, but I can't bring myself to swim when I am drowning in this silence. Baby, let me in. Go easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get the chance to feel the world around me. I had no time to choose what I chose to do. So go easy on me. There ain't no room for things to change when we are both so deeply stuck in our ways. You can't deny how hard I've tried. I changed you